me, and for anybody who doesn't, and I know sorry about that, but my name is Kat Martin, and I am what you'd call, I guess, a voice activator, is what we'll say. And I spent many, many years of my life, I was pursuing an opera career, and essentially what I was doing was allowing other people and myself to try to put my voice into a box, which is essentially what most of us are doing in our current culture, within our society, that in order to make money, be successful, have validation, fit into this nice, tidy box. And that's what I was trying to do with my voice. And very luckily, very gratefully, my voice would have nothing to do with that shit. So, in the midst of pursuing this opera career where I was trying to prove that I had worth, trying to seek validation outside of myself using my voice, trying to prove that I was worthy based off of how perfect my voice could sound, how gorgeous I could perform, all of that, trying to prove that. I forgot where I was going with this point, but who's felt that their passion, their art, that at one point meant so much to you, and it becomes this whole thing of how you have to make your living and how you have to prove your worth in this world. You were born worthy. That's what I believe. I believe that we were born, thank you, yes. We were born with this incredible, unique spirit. Every single one of us. I also believe that we are all figments of consciousness of the creator. I say creator, but we are all unique manifestations of this. And part of that is our voice. And more and more we are catching on to the healing benefits of sound, right? So I'm sure many people here have been to a sound bath or have heard of that, sound healing, understand that. And the more that I've come to understand the voice, it's so crazy because we literally are walking around with a sound healing instrument in our physical body. And most of us do not know how to use this in the sacred ways that it was intended for. Yes, it is intended to communicate, but a lot of times language actually gets in the way. Have you ever had your mind racing so fast and had a million thoughts and felt like you completely grasped a concept, but there was no way, it felt like their words were not enough to explain that? Because words are great, but in a sense, they aren't enough. There is a deeper understanding, and I think that is sound and also silence. Both are sacred, both are equally important, and the sound comes out of the silence, right? So, I want to, with you guys today, start to tap in to that power. And I'm sure we all range from, people who feel confident singing to potentially somebody who's like, I could never sing. Well, the truth is, if you were born with healthy, functioning vocal cords, you, my friend, were born a singer. Just like your ancestors were born singers, just like our ancestors, all of our ancestors, some further back than others, all sang in community together. They sang to their higher power. They sang to heal each other, to heal themselves. They sang to communicate with each other. And I believe that ability has been stripped from us, and that powerful information has been hidden from us the same reasons why so much other sacred and powerful information has been hidden from us, because our voices are powerful. Our ability to speak into this world is the way that we manifest our thoughts, our visions out. So it's first speaking it and action, right? But that's how we bring it out into this dimension. And I believe, and then there's a lot of research to corroborate, I can never say that word. Corroborate, thank you, that singing is exponentially more powerful than speaking. But we are a culture that is so obsessed with how perfect that voice is, with how marketable that voice is. I feel like this is my security blanket right now. I'm just gonna bring it. I just wanted to say this point, and then we'll start activating our voices. I believe that we've been separated from our voices, right? So in our current culture, we believe, we've been told that there are singers and that there are non-singers. So the non-singers, for most of their lives, do not go around using this sacred instrument in the way that it was intended to not just sing for others and potentially have a beautiful sound. Our range, the potentiality of all the sounds that we can make. A pretty sound is like one aspect. There's so many. A dark sound, a light sound, a hideous sound, a mean sound, a happy sound, a joyous sound. Like the idea of it having to sound this beautiful and perfect or whatever is crap. It's like one little aspect of this whole spectrum. But so we're walking around with these sacred voices, and so many of us don't know how to use them. And then even the quote unquote singers of the society who've been propped up, most of them don't even own their voices. Their voices have been hijacked and used for not so great means to then brainwash everyone else with this music that's not even in the right frequency and the kind of languaging and all of that. So even the singers, for the most part, don't own their voices. And I discovered that the most when I got a very strong hit from Spirit in 2019. That's when I had my darkest, deepest dark night of the soul. And I left the opera world in 2019. It's like it was the first time I started really trusting, but it was really scary because that was my whole identity for so long. I had spent all of my 20s investing in this, and then to just be like, oh, well then who am I? But I left that, and then sure enough, 2020 comes along, and everybody's, effed with that. But artists in particular are the first that it's like, you don't count. We don't give a shit about you. No more performances, no this. So like opera was completely taken off the table, classical music, and they didn't even fight. Just, okay, all right, we'll put on our masks. Singing opera singers, the best opera singers in the world, literally trying to sing opera with these masks on. And then guess who are some, other than the medical professionals, who are some of the people around the world who are the first to line up for the vaxes?
Oh, the musicians.
The artists. The music industry.
But we have to play.
I know. Almost every single one of my opera singer friends immediately ran to get it as fast as they could, because even these beautiful artists who spent so many years and hours upon hours in their craft have been so programmed in this pick me, please, I'll do anything, so that they could share their sacred voice. So then let's activate our voices, because this is what I'm here to do. This is what we're here to do. And I want you to feel comfortable. So if you are in a place where you're feeling just nice and juicy sitting down, stay there, but use your body. You could do it either way. The best thing that I learned about opera is like, you can sing standing, you can sing lying down because you just got stabbed, like you could use your body Yeah, that's opera. You could use your body in any way, but if you feel like you have some energy or you want to get some energy, then stand up with me and we're going to start tapping into this. Okay, so number 1, breath. Breath, 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 breath. Breath is the foundation of singing. The breath of life first, and then the sound that comes out. How perfect is that for the yin and yang, the balance of life, the feminine and the masculine, right? So immediately start tapping into that breath. The thing I'm most grateful about being a singer and being in the opera world is that how I learned to breathe. And when I learned to breathe, it transformed the rest of my life. Because going back to the conversation earlier about fear, right? Many of us are living in a state of fear, which is essentially living in a state of fight or flight, which has to do with what? A dysregulated nervous system. What is one of the most powerful ways we can immediately regulate our nervous system is our breath. So I went from living in a state of fight or flight pretty much all of my 20s to learning how to drop into my body using my breath so that now I could be tapped in and present. And if I do get disrupted by something, I use that breath to go right back in. So breath, the type of breath you take not only changes your life, but it determines the type of sound that you make. So for a lot of people who fear singing or feel like, oh, I can't, there's something that feels locked up, it very likely has to do with your breath, because most of us are taking much more shallow breaths than we need. We need to feel as if it's going into our belly. We need to allow this big belly to open up, this lower belly, which can be more difficult for women. Coming from living in Hollywood for many years and trying to be a model, I basically sucked in my stomach for like 15 years of my life, like the whole time. So I had to learn to let this puppy out, because you can't get a deep breath without that. So we're going to take a really deep breath in through our nose and imagine that there is a, I say this word so many times and I literally forget it every time. A magnet in your pelvic floor, pulling that breath in. So first, let all your breath out. Inhale with me. Let that breath spill in into your lower belly. And then let it out. Good. Let's do a couple more of that. Low, deep. This time, let it out your mouth. We're already preparing ourselves for singing. Do that again. This time, open your mouth even wider and start to fog up a window. So pretend it's freezing out and there's a window in front of you. You're going to fog that up. First, breathe in. Into that Buddha belly, I like to call it. Exhale, fog up that window. We're going to keep expanding on this. Next, we're going to stick out our tongue out on the exhale and do a lion's breath. So inhale through the nose. Exhale, lion's breath. This starts releasing the jaw and the tongue. Most of us don't realize how much jaw tension we have, especially for living in fight or flight, clenching our jaws and using our tongues, so much tongue tension. So we're going to release that. Let out your air. Inhale through your nose. Lion's breath. Now, start to make yourself yawn. Oh, you feel that? Oh. Good. Now go back to that lion's breath. Inhale through your nose again. On the exhale, we're all going to make sound together. Good. Let's do one more together. Inhale. Now we're going to add movement. We're going to start to make space for our diaphragm. Another aspect is our fascia. Our fascia system is super tight. It's like this beautiful network around our whole body, and we don't realize that a lot of times when we feel tight, a lot of it has to do with our fascia, and it affects everything, especially it's wrapped around our diaphragm and around our lungs. So a lot of times if that's tight around there, it's inhibiting our ability to take deeper breath. So we're going to reach forward, bring the tops of our hands together, and we're going to cat our spine to make some room for our lungs and our diaphragm in the back. So watch me on the inhale. And then on the exhale, we're going to open up our heart and our throat. And bring it out. Let's do a couple together. Ready? Inhale, cat that spine. Exhale. One more time, loudest one yet. Good. Let's start to move that energy around. Shake it out, shake out your hands. And while you shake out your hands, do some lip trills. This can be hard for some people in the beginning, but just play with it. I'm constantly doing lip trills. Look back and forth, release neck tension, continue to do lip trills. You can feel that in your belly. Good, do just a little bit of neck rolls, intentional neck rolls. And just start to make some sound with that. And keep remembering these deep breaths. So, going back to the lion's breath and the sound we all made together. I don't know if you noticed, did you notice how loud your voice felt coming out?
Yeah.
How it almost felt louder than it should be?
Yeah.
Well, because what we were doing is what opera singers do. Opera singers sing without a microphone, right? It's not because they're like extraordinarily louder than everybody. Well, some are. But it's because they have learned how to master using their skull as a resonating chamber. We have all these beautiful resonating chambers in our bodies, our our rib cage right around there, our chest big time, even in our throat, our jaw a little bit, and then the skull is where you get that high head voice. So what they're doing is they're driving the sound and mastering that resonating chamber, which we all have the ability to do. It's just about knowing how to do it. But crazy enough, we knew how to do it when we came out of the womb, because the very first thing that we did, we opened our mouth and our belly spilled open. You watch a baby cry and their belly goes out when they inhale, right? Ah! And then we cried this ear blistering, scream cry. We all can tap into that sound. And opera is literally singing, it's literally speaking, moaning, wailing, whining, crying on pitch. That's it. So when we get out of the feeling of, oh, it has to sound a certain way, well, you can't go off of how it sounds, because the way our ears are situated, you cannot hear what you sound like to me. So how actually extraordinarily beautiful is that? Because what that means is, as a singer, you cannot listen for how to get better. So what do? You have to go off of how it feels. So what feels good? What feels juicy? If it feels juicy, warm, good, free, then most likely, we're not going to say it all the time, because I can make a really good feeling sound. It's not going to be the most beautiful sound in the world, but most likely that is what's going to bring you to your most powerful, amazing sounding voice. But if it feels tight and rigid and it's painful, that's what it's going to sound like. It's not going to sound pleasant. So we're going to add on, going back into what I was talking about, the opera singers then. So we're going to drive the sound. We were mostly working on breath. Now we're going to learn how to drive the sound forward a little bit. We're going to keep with the nose inhales for now, because it's a good way to get a really deep breath. And we're going to do that, and we're going to hum. And it's going to be a really active hum, because sometimes we can do a lazy hum, but we don't want a lazy hum. We want a very active hum that you feel behind your nose, and you almost feel this vibration happening, or this sensation in your upper abdominals, right here below your epigastrium, which, by the way, other than our hips, is a strong, powerful seat of our emotions. So if this is locked up, it's going to cut off our ability to express ourselves. And that usually is where nerves come from, or when you're in an argument with somebody and you suddenly feel your voice tighten up, it's connected to that. And I don't think it's any coincidence that it's literally the space between our solar plexus, which is our personal power, up through our heart and then our throat. It's chakra, if we're talking about chakras, right? So let's explore that together, this active hum. We're going to inhale through our nose. And hum. Hum. So just to let you guys know, humming is a gateway drug to singing. So if you're at a point right now where you might not feel totally comfortable singing just yet, because I encourage everybody to be singing daily, all the time, healing yourself, healing your family, healing your friends, just singing for people, and you'll be shocked at how it sometimes you'll have people get triggered and they'll whatever, but when you keep doing it and you find that confidence in it, you'll be shocked at how it gives other people permission. So I notice my parents, who I'm around, I notice them singing a lot more now, right? And they were never those type of people, so it's interesting. So we're gonna do that one more time. So if you feel a little hesitant to start singing, start with humming. Let's do it one more time. Inhale. Gateway drug to singing. Now we're going to open our mouth, but you start with that powerful hum, which drives the sound forward to your hard palate behind your teeth. And then we're going to open to an ah, but I want a pure ah, A-H, like you'd say when you say mama, which I do not think is a coincidence. Mama. Mama. Now pretend you're Italian. Mamma mia.
Mamma mia.
You feel that resonance in your face? Mamma mia.
Mamma mia.
Yeah, it is not a coincidence that Italians spit out like the best opera singers in the world. So we're gonna go humma, and I want you to feel this power. I feel it in my upper abdominals and my chest. So let all your air out. Inhale through your nose. Somebody already started doing it. I love it. Now, I encourage you to, if it feels right to you, to harmonize. And if you feel afraid to harmonize, or you feel like you couldn't find the pitch and it's off, who gives a crap? Let it be. Find your way. The only way we can learn how to harmonize, learn how to find pitch, is to first let ourselves be wrong and explore. So let's try that again. And if you want to play with the pitch, go somewhere different. Let yourself blow out all your air. Inhale. Good. Now to finish, am I on top? Am I done? All right. To finish us off, then.
Only because I don't want to cut off Tomoko.
Totally. To finish us off, we're gonna just do a coyote sound together, and then
Never seen the
and then a warrior cry. This is tapping into the higher register of your voice, which also simultaneously, when we're in the lower register, that's gonna be heart chakra, like we're getting all the lower chakras, but when we start to get into our higher realms, our higher register, third eye and crown. So you could use your own voice to align your chakras, to work through them. I can give you guys resources and stuff if you'd like to hear about it afterwards. But so tapping into that higher register, I'll quickly tell you, I would have students where I would have them, they're trying to sing a high note, right? And they do this whole thing. And they do this whole thing. We all do it. I did it constantly. And then I remember having a teacher like, okay, baby. Can you just howl like a coyote? Did I have to do any of that? No! We all have that capacity. So ready? Let's do it together. And go. And now, beautiful. Tap into your ancestors or somebody else's, whoever you want, your best warrior cry. What is that to you? Whatever that can sound like. It could be like, it could be anything. Okay, ready? Mine's always like Xena Warrior Princess kind of thing. Okay, ready? And... Thanks, guys.
Where's the professor?
What'd you say?
How does one work with you?
My company is Wild Voices, WYLDE Voices. You can find my website or find me on Instagram. It's all spelled the same. And I always do the first session is just a trial. We see how we feel. You see how you feel with this work, and hit me up or contact me after this.
So awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kat.